detail for what's the background of the each step. Yeah, so today I will introduce the best practice workflow. So as you can see here, our software, we already incorporate from step 1 to step 8 to QC sample and also QC the probe. Yeah, so you can understand the quality of the sample and also the quality of the probe. So you can understand if the workflow you already process for your samples is good, or you have some quality issue or have some procedures you have to improve. Yeah, so all of the indications should be, you can find the numbers from the QC matrix. Yeah, so the software will already incorporate all of the QC steps into the data analysis. Yeah, so I just try to introduce the background of each QC step. So as you can see here, there are 8 steps. So except step 1, you have to batch your samples. Okay, you can just based on the sample type or the sample sample source and batch into the different data analysis pipeline. For example, if you have 2 types of the sample, blood and also maybe saliva, so it would be good you separate the samples into the different data analysis. Okay, so you have maybe 48 samples of blood and have another 48 samples with saliva. Yeah, so you just have the separate analysis. Okay. Yeah, so besides for step 1, you have to batch the sample by yourself. But for the step 2, all the way to step 8, the software, our software Axiom analysis suite, already combine the function from step 2 to step 8 into one, I would say, few clicks. Then you can complete the data analysis around 1 hour to get the genotyping data. What's wrong? Connect. Disconnect.
Connect.
We have internet plug in. We can use this to stabilize your connection.
Okay.
I think shut down the Wi-Fi. At that.
It's nice. Something.
Yes.
Hello. Hi. Sorry for the internet connection issue. Yeah. So let's back to my introduction. Yeah, see, it's fine. You can see my script.
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, so firstly, we need to group your sample into the different types of sample. Then you can do the data analysis for the samples you collect. Yeah, so most of the time when you process 96 samples, it would be good to run data analysis for these 96 samples. Yeah, but if they say for this week, you process more than 2 plates or 3 plates, the best idea is that you combine all of the cell file you receive in this batch or in this week, and you do the data analysis. Okay, so you cluster, you batch all the samples as many as possible. Okay, so if you have 96, you just combine 96 samples. If you have 192, you just combine 192. Okay, but the samples you put together should be from the same type, same source. Yeah, blood you should combine blood. If the saliva, you should combine the saliva. Okay. Yeah, so next step, the software will generate the sample DQC. So if you start to receive the cell file from GenTitan from our Axiom snipper array, the first QC you would try to understand is the DQC, dish QC. So it's a very important QC metrics you have to take about it. Yeah, so here is the QC metrics coming from. So actually, we use the QC to differentiate the signal from the GC channel and also from the AT channel, because we use 2 signals, 2 different colors, yeah, to generate the signal from AT, from nucleotide AT, and also from the nucleotide CG. Yeah, so as you can see here, we put thousands of the control probe into the array. Yeah, so whenever you receive the array data, we definitely have the control probe. So this control probe would be the same for all of the population. For male, for female, for you, me, all of the sequence for this control probe will be the same. So if you mix your DNA sample with my DNA sample, actually the signal is the same. Okay, yeah, so we use this try to understand if the control probe can be detect the signal, yeah, from the control. Okay, before we put the control probe and also the reagent when you hybridize the array. Yeah, so you don't have to understand what's the detail between this photo. Yeah, but you have to understand the distribution of the GC channel and the AT channel. You have to understand the difference and also the distance between the peak of the GC channel and also AT channel. So you will not see the pattern from the software, but you already analyze the dish QC behind the software. So each sample you will combine thousands of the control probe to understand the distance between the 2 peaks. Okay, the peaks, one of the peak is from GC channel, another peak is from AT channel. So the distance is 1. Perfect one would be the value would be 1. Yeah, so if you have done a very, very perfect workflow and you have a perfect DNA, everything is perfect. Ideally, the dish QC is 1 for the sample, but it's molecular testing. You would not get a perfect one. So ideally, the dish QC we set to get the high quality of the data. We set the threshold would be 0.82. 0.82. Yeah, contrast value. Yes. just the value. So you will see the value from the data analysis for each individual sample. The value is just the distance between the peak. Between the peak, you can see the peak between the GC channel and also the AT channel. The distance would be perfectly would be 1. Yeah.
Tùy theo hai cái định GC và AT, nếu mà nó cách nhau đúng bằng 1 thì là đẹp nhất.
And the formula, but based on the formula, if the AT signal is smaller than the GC signal, the value should be minus.
No, it doesn't detect the intensity. The signal is high or strong or weak. No, it just detects the contribution of all of the control probe. The signal, the signal looks like this one because we have thought. No, not the higher. It's just the distribution of the signals. Just a distribution. So you will the software will plot this distribution based on the signal of the control probes.
0.82.
Yeah, 0.82.
Is it acceptable?
Yes. For the sample QC.
For control probes, right? We know for sure, 100% sure that only AT signal will have signal or GC signal. GC will have signal. So it's imagine like 1 minus 0, 1 plus 0. So it's 1. Perfect scenario.
Yeah, so if you have the very poor signal of the control probe, which means the GC channel and also the AT channel cannot be differentiated. So the peak between GC channel and also AT channel, yeah, would be very close. Yeah, so on the right-hand side is the example of the poor data quality. Yeah, so ideally the QC would be more than 0.82. Yeah, the higher the better. Yeah, so software will move on to the next step automatically. You will, based on the QC data from each sample, yeah, to QC the sample to identify if this sample is failed or is successful. Okay. And so the software can automatically calculate the DQC for each sample. So from here you can see several points, right? You can see a lot of points. So each point would be one sample. Yeah, so one sample you can identify the DQC. Yeah, DQC it would be, yeah, it's a percentage of the DQC. Yeah, so the higher the better. The perfect one would be close to 1. Yeah, however, if the DNA quality is not good, or if the process is not done properly, sometimes maybe your tip you cannot put the sufficient volume of the enzyme or reaction buffer. Yeah, so the reaction would be a little bit poor. So the DQC would be lower than 0.82. Yeah, so it will be identified as a failed sample. So most of the time, if you are familiar with the entire workflow, I would say the pass rate would be almost 100%, almost 100%. But it will depend on the quality of the DNA. If you have the blood sample, yeah, from my experience, customer, their passing rate, I would say the fail rate would be less than 1%. When they process 10 plates, they will sometimes find one of the sample may be failed. Yeah, so 1,000 sample.
It's common.
What's the common reason for that? Yeah, because
they do a lot together.
yeah, good question. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes because when they prepare the DNA in a big sample volume, so sometimes they have some DNA contamination during the sample preparation, either the operation when they prepare the Axiom reagent, like what you have done today and yesterday. Yeah, sometimes there was some sample contamination between well to well. Yeah, so if the sample contamination would be, have a certain amount of the DNA is coming from the next well, yeah, it will cause the cross contamination from between the well. Yeah, because the contamination, it would result, it will cause the call rate would be lower. So we also have another matrix for the call rate. So call rate would be the next few QC steps, yeah, from the best practice workflow. Okay, so first for step 2 and step 3, software will QC just the sample. Okay, so just sample based on the control probes. How many control probes? 20,000.
20,000.
Yes, so we have 20,000 control probes.
Non-polymorphic.
Non-polymorphic means these markers you already have the genotyping like GG, like CC, like AA, like TT. We already, it's a fixed marker. Yeah, so it's of course it's a different probe. So we select 20,000 probes.
Hỏi đi anh chạy đi lấy xe của anh.
20,000.
Vừa.
20.
À, quán nào?
20,000
18 à?
control
8
probes.
nha.
Control
But
probes.
you already know the genotype and you never change in samples.
Yeah.
For this case, so validate.
Okay. Yeah, so next one we will generate the sample QC call rate. So since we have a call rate, we will based on the how many genotyping, yeah, we can generate from the control probes. So just I mentioned, we already put about 20,000 control probes. The genotyping already is consistent, already fixed. We know the genotyping, yeah, from everyone. Yeah, we have the fixed markers for these 20,000 control probes. So we will calculate the call rate from each individual sample. Yeah, so call rate means that how many control probes would be genotyped, yeah, from these 20,000 control probes. The perfect one would be, the call rate is how many percent? 100%, but it's super ideal. It's super ideal. So most of the time it would be 99% or 99 point something percent. Okay. Yeah, so next step we will QC the sample based on the QC. Yeah, so we set the criteria to accept the QC correct is the correct we set is 97%. 97%. Yeah, if the correct is above 97%, the sample will be passed.
Which means 97% of the 20,000 votes should.
Yeah.
Be the correct.
Should be genotype.
Correct.
How many probe we will miss? 3%. 3% of 20,000. 600. 600. Yeah, so we can tolerate 600 control probe with no code. No code. Yeah, so you will learn another word, no code. No code means you don't have genotyping data. Okay. Yeah, so another threshold would be the QC correct, which is 97%. So first number would be 0.82. Second number 97%. Okay. Yeah, so this photo is very interesting one. Yeah, so we combine the number of the QC, first one, and also combine another number QC correct. Okay, QC correct to plot point like this one. So as you can see here, most of the sample have the high QC and also high QC correct. So we would identify these samples will be located in a very high quality of the data. However, if you have some issue like sample contamination, either the sample contamination is happening during you extract DNA, either during your pipettement and mix the samples and vortex spin down, right? So you have done very several vortex spin down, yeah, during the entire process, right? Yeah, so you sometimes would have the sample contamination, but try to avoid it, yeah, because it will cause the QC correct would be decreasing. Okay. Yeah, so if the DQC is high, right? Like 0.95. However, if the QC correct is not good, it's quite below to 97%. Yeah, here is the indication. Yeah, here is the indication of sample contamination. Okay, it's very obvious pattern. Okay, high QC but low QC correct. It's almost 100% is the sample contamination. Yeah, sample contamination here. Yeah, cross contamination, the mixture of the DNA. Yeah, because the signal would be between, like, it's not purely GG or AG, for example. So the signal would be just between GG and maybe AA or maybe AG. Yeah, it depends on how many percent you will carry over from the another sample. So the signal would be just in between the correct signal. So the software cannot identify this signal would be GG or maybe AG. So you would identify this signal would be non-code. Okay. Yeah, so next step is to QC the plate. So do you remember we need to process 96 samples in the plate, right? So we can QC the plates. So if the high quality plates, the plate pass rate would be 95%. Okay. So we can tolerate maybe few samples fail. The fail may be due to the fail in QC maybe fail due to the low QC core rate. Yeah, but overall, if the passing rate is above 95%, yeah, for blood sample and 96% for saliva, yeah, we will identify this PRET as a high quality PRET. And the average QC core rate, yeah, for the passing sample, it be 99%. We can identify this array as a very good quality. Yeah, but for our threshold, we set 98.5%. Yeah, to this array is pass, or you should consider this array will be fail. Yeah, if everything is for example, DNA is good, everything is good. Yeah, but eventually the passing rate, the passing sample of the for the average QC core rate is less than 98.5%. Yeah, you can consider this array should be redo. We should redo the DNA and also the array. Yeah, however, if you already in the very beginning, you already understand some of the sample already, the DNA may be not in a very high quality. You already understand maybe one or few samples, it would be fail in the beginning. So you don't have to follow the rule in the QC of the PRET. Because you already understand maybe 5 samples already have a very low quality of the DNA, it will definitely fail, right? But you still want to try. Yeah, so the QC of the PRET is a soft matrix. Software will not rule out this PRET. It will continue and move on to the next step to run data analysis. Yeah, but it will give you some hints that you would be very cautious on the quality from this data, from this PRET of the data.
Examples fail. If we increase the length.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, of course. If you have 96 samples and you failed maybe 6 samples, yeah, so the passing rate would be 90 samples divided 96. Yeah, so the passing rate would be about 90%.
We show these numbers, right?
Yeah.
Then we base on these numbers.
Yeah, you can. The software will give you a summary of the average QC core rate for the passing sample, and also the average DQC and average QC core rate for this batch of the data analysis in the summary. So GC, the next section will go through the data analysis. Yeah, next section will go through the data analysis. Just demo. Little time. Yeah, so next step is the genotype the passing sample, because the software already filter the samples which already failed due to maybe low DQC, maybe low QC core rate. Yeah, so next step, the software will genotype the passing sample. Yeah, so currently we haven't QC the probe we design on the array. Yeah, but just QC the sample based on the control probes. Yeah, so here is the example. We put a lot of the probe sets, yeah, on the array. So you can see the ID of each probe. You can see from here, Amfimatrix SP 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. Yeah, so we have the ID, yeah, for each probe. I don't know, probably yes.
Looks very.
Yeah, but you know how many probes we design on the array the week? Yeah, PMDA. How many? How many? Yeah, more than any other number? Yes, more than, but
50,000.
yeah, more than 800,000. Yeah, so the software will genotyping and will also QC each individual probe. Okay, so it will take some time for software, yeah, to analyze each individual, each probe. Okay. So here is the example. We put a lot of markers in the PMDA. This week you are just process.
How many replicants of each though?
How many
It varies, right?
Of each number.
It depends. It depends. Sometimes you just have one single probe. Yeah, but if some difficult markers, we will design the duplicate. Yeah, but we already have some algorithm to identify this marker should be just one copy, or we should duplicate the markers of the array.
And you remember Malini's lecture yesterday when he mentioned about the difference between the AT SNP versus a GC SNP. So the difference between the AT and GC is that during the design, right? If let's say it's an AT SNP, then they will usually will design just one. You need one. You can just have one probe to detect whether it's an AT or not. But if let's say it's a GC SNP, you need at least two. Yeah.
But for example, here we have
standard and non-standard. Yeah.
So
standard and
yeah, so here maybe you have the VIP markers on the right hand side. Yeah, so for the VIP marker, we may design the many replicates for these VIP markers. However, but for some common markers, yeah, we don't have to put the replicates of the marker. You just put one markers, yeah, for this variance. So most of the time we just use one or two, but for VIP marker we can replicate as many as possible. So from my experience, we can have 32 repeats. Repeats is the maximum.
yeah, so that's
Maximum 32 replicate. We repeat this probe around.
Maximum that maximum we replicate 32.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
correct.
one more
For the
than that.
big one.
Yeah.
Tức là số mẫu tối đa nhận là
Số probe tức là ví dụ như một cái trình tự này nếu mà đối với big nó sẽ là lại 32 lần trên trình này nó chắc chắn là nó không phải.
còn nhân lại bên kia bình thường.
Sẽ là một.
Em nghĩ là tại vì ký hiệu bên qua thì nó phải là có một đủ số lượng nhất định thì nó mới cho cái ký hiệu để mà cái máy nó đọc được.
Và cũng show là nó có cả cái bài extract WD.
Bà cái HK đấy.
In HK, how many rounds for amplify the signal? Five.
Same round. Yeah.
Cho nên là chỉ cần số probe ít thôi nó vẫn đủ nhiều. Em bảo một probe làm sao mà đọc được.
Yeah, so the last step would be QC the SNP and classify the SNP into the different categories. Yeah, we will identify if this SNP is performing well, or if this NIP should be called like no code, or we should remove, or we should move up the data analysis, yeah, to keep or filter this marker. Yeah, so we will based on the signal. So I will introduce what the signal looks like. Yeah, so the software, actually the software is very smart. You will firstly you will plot the signal from each individual sample for each individual probe. So here is the example of the one probe. Okay, so we have hundreds of thousand probes, right? So each individual probe, we will plot the signal, yeah, from each individual sample. So each point would be from one sample. So from this sample, maybe we have 200 or few hundreds of the sample, okay, contribute the signal for this probe. Okay, so ideally there will be 3 clusters. Each cluster have the different genotyping. Here is red is AA. Yeah, here is genotyping AA. Blue one would be genotyping BB, and yellow one would be genotyping AB. Okay, heterozygous, homozygous, homozygous. Okay, ideally we would have the 3 clusters. So you can see there are several, the points outside the the clusters. Yeah, because the software cannot identify this sample, another these few samples. Yeah, so the genotyping would be classified as no code for this sample, this sample, this sample. Yeah, because they are outlier. Can you see here? Okay. Yeah. So the middle one would be no minor home or homozygous. Yeah, it's missing because the samples only carry the genotyping PP and also genotyping AB. Yeah, no one carry the genotyping AA. Yeah, for this specific probe. Okay, it's also a very high quality of the data. Okay, so it's also the recommended one. Okay, another one would be just have the mono high resolution for one cluster. So here's the BB genotyping. So all of the samples only carry BB. You, me, everyone from this data analysis, all the samples carry the same genotyping. Okay. Yeah, the signal of the probe. Yeah, so the software will automatically generate this plot for you. So you don't have to worry about the signal because you already transform the signal, yeah, into this plot and generate the genotyping, yeah, for the data analysis. Okay, so most of the time the signal would be within the area we already predict. Yeah, the signal should be here, here, there. Okay. Yeah, however, some of the probe due to the sequence or the probe design or any neighboring variant we didn't consider when we design the probe. Yeah, it will impact the performance of the probe. Yeah, it's a molecular, right? So it would be cause the cluster is not behavior very well. Okay, so here is the example. The yellow one will be very tricky Yeah, because the yellow one, it seems like there is no signal. Yeah, so from my experience, maybe some new variants is just next to or just very close to the variant, the markers we design. Yeah, so it will impact the efficiency of the hybridization. So the signal would be not so strong, but maybe you can also detect a certain amount of the signal, but the signal would be a little bit lower than AB. So we will identify it as OTV. Yeah, so the software will filter this low quality of the probe. Okay, and the middle one is call rate below threshold. So you can see here the signal between cluster to cluster is almost very close and even overlapping with each other, right? Yeah, so you can see the samples in the overlapping area, the software will call it like no call. So overall, the call rate will be very is below the threshold. Yeah, so we will have the threshold for the call rate on each individual probe. So you can see the cluster here, the call rate would be below threshold. Lastly, would be the pattern would be very weird. Yeah, it's not like the first one, second one, and second one is other pattern. Yeah, so the software cannot identify the genotyping, right? So you will call it like other. So you can look into the data, but you cannot generate a very good genotyping. So you will automatically filter out the data from this pattern. Yeah, so actually we provide two software actually. So currently we just install the Axiom analysis suite. So you just have a few clicks. You don't have a command line, yeah, to run the software. However, for some of the bioinformatics, yeah, they rely on the command line. They don't like the software from the Windows, from the Axiom analysis suite. They just like command line. So we have another version of the software, which is APT. For the bioinformatics, they can generate the data analysis pipeline. They can generate the genotyping by using the command line. Yeah, so they like it very much. Yeah, because they just use the command line to get the genotyping data, like you have done to get the genotyping data from the Axiom analysis suite. Yeah, both of the software are open and free to download. Yeah. So what kind of sample? If they already have the data, the array data, yeah, they can use the software to generate the genotyping. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So all the software from here is just analyze the genotyping data. You cannot, yeah, that's all. Yeah, but for pharmacogenomics, we can have additional function to translate the genotyping data to star allele. GC will have more introduction on this one. Any question? Yeah, actually, it's very straightforward. You don't have to understand the detail. Yeah, but just you follow the procedures to import the cell file and run data analysis and please don't try to change the default setting. when you run data analysis.
Cái chỉ mặc định đừng có đổi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if no more question, hand over to GC.
After GC talk, we can check on the software and can see something like the one that you showed.
Sure.
Manage your network.
No.
Avoid disconnection. Okay. Oh, Kevin, you are still sharing the screen.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everyone. Those who are online, can you hear me? Can? Yeah. Okay, they can hear. Okay. All right. So my name is GC. I'm going to continue with the second session, which I will focus on more on the data analysis on the pharmacogenomics side. But before we go to that, right, I just want to give you a very quick walkthrough on the software. So actually the software is called Axiom Analysis Suites, where you can actually download from thermofisher website. So you because I have given the installers and some demo file to those who are here present in Hanoi. So for those you are online, you can actually just go to the website and you just type Axiom Analysis Suites thermofishers, and you can actually click on this one, Axiom Analysis Suites, and you can download the installer online, and it is free. So it's not licensed software, anyone can just download it. Okay. Then after you download it, you can just install the software. Then after you install the software, I think the very first thing that they ask is to ask you to key in the profile, right? So the profile is essentially your name. You can give it your name or anything that you like. So after that, actually, they will also ask you to create account. So you can actually create an account with the data center for NetFX. So you can create an account. So what that account do is that it enables you to download the library files
Because for those who are here, I have already shared the library files so that you can already start to analyze the data already. But if you because those who online, you might need to go through this step in order to be able to analyze the data. And I just want to show you how it looks like. Yeah, just click on update.
And then it automatically download the library to.
No, you still need to select. Oops. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. Because, okay. And then another thing is that I want to, okay, let me try to disconnect.
I think you should turn on the Wi-Fi to the net.
Oh,
Turn off
Wi-Fi.
It's coming.
Why? Okay, all right. I'm sorry for clicking the update just now. Okay, so one of the things that I would suggest you to do is that if you are in the area that the network, the internet connection is very bad, you have to turn off this option. Check for library file updates at startup. If you don't turn it off, the consequences is that it will take a very long time for you to load the software. Because if you check this option, which is turned on by default, you start the software, what the software will do is connect to the internet. Connect, and try to connect. So it takes very long time to connect. So you have to uncheck this option. Then you will be very fast to get into the software. Because just now I see Lian and I mean a lot of your computer, it takes a long time to log into the software. That's the reason. So turn off this option. However, when you are in a very good internet time, right? After you create an account, you click the update and you go inside. Remember, don't download all the library file you see, because it's taking a lot of space. Because one library file, I'll let you see what is the size of one library file. One library file, for example, for PMDA, you can see that the file size is like 2 gigs, 2.5 gig, very big. So if you click like install everything, it will take forever. So you only install the library files which you are going to analyze. For example, end of this week, you are going to analyze PMDA plus array, then just install the PMDA plus. So I just give you the PMDA plus and the pharmacofocus. The reason why I give you pharmacofocus is a very small array, so it's not very fast, it's very suitable for demonstration. Okay, yeah. And then to start, analysis is actually very simple once you have everything set up already. To start an analysis, you have 2 ways. One is that you select the array that you are going to analyze. Another way is that a simpler one is that you just import your cell file. Remember, like just now Kevin mentioned, cell file is actually the file from the microarray. It's a raw data file, and this is a file that you are going to put into the software for the genotyping analysis. So you just select all and then open it up. You can see all after the cell file is being imported, right? You can actually, the software can actually identify what array is this. And what you need to do is to confirm that your analysis configuration is selected, usually by default, and also the threshold is selected, is also usually by default. And the workflow that you select is always best practices workflow. So Kevin went through what is included in that workflow, right? The 8 steps. So always choose this one and then give it a name. Usually you can see like, say like PMDA plus and today's date, or any name, as long as it's unique every time you analyze it. It cannot be replicated exactly the same name. You cannot use exactly the same name. So you just click run. And you can see that for pharmacofocus array, because it's a small array, is what we call a mini 96. So the surface area is very small. That type of array can hold up to 50,000 of markers. So you can see that because of the number of markers is lesser, the analysis time is just a few minutes time. However, for a big array like PMDA plus, it has like over 850,000 of markers, right? So you can see that it takes about 1 hour to analyze. So after this is done, what you need to do is just to open it up, and you can view the results already. And of course, the very first thing that you see is that you go to the summary. And just now, Kevin has explained what is DQC, right? So you can see that for this particular demo file, 96 out of 96 means that 100% of the sample actually passed the DQC. And in terms of the QC correct, it's also 96 out of 96% pass the QC correct. So this is something that you will check whether how's the performance look like. You quickly check how's the DQC, how's the QC correct, and also how's the DQC, QC correct, and PET QC. Yeah, you can very quickly take a look at this. And you can see that on the right hand side here, one of the very useful one is also DQC versus QC correct, because this is a very good one for you to quickly check is there any cross-contamination issues. So you can see that for this entire plate, right, you can see the DQC and the QC correct are all very high, means that it's a good one, means that QC is already passed up. So the next one is that you will go through the genotyping, you go through the cluster and also the allele translation. Okay, yeah, that's all. Any questions so far? You all good? Yeah. Okay. Then I go to the main topic of this session, which is the allele translation. Why am I showing this? Duplicates. Duplicates. Why is it so?
就看到，然后下一张slide。
对啊，为什么？这样子咯。
你看到的是
You can you see the presenter more?
Yeah, can.
Oh, okay. All right. No, just now it's not in presenter mode. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry for that. So now we go to the next topic. So this topic is a little bit complicated. Let me if I'm going too fast, you just slow me down.
Is you always too fast?
Okay.
I want to say when you slow down, it doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Okay, I want to share with you that the genotyping and allele translation analysis, it is you will take some time to learn because it is a big topic. And these two documents is like is my Bible lah, so it can be your Bible as well. You can see that we actually have these two documents. The first document is actually the user guide for the software, and it has over 200 pages. It is very, very written, very detailed. And the second document is called Axiom Genotyping Solution Data Analysis. It has also over 160 pages. So it is written very comprehensively. So if you have any questions, like for example, you don't understand some of the metrics, like for example, you forget, hey, what is DQC? Then you can just go to the user guide, just search DQC. Then you will be able to see the definition. And then here, right, in this document, the second document, they give a very good explanation in very detail, like what is DQC and how is it calculated. So you can always refer to these two. You can download it and then put in your PC, and then you can refer to it. Okay. And I think one of the very fast way that you can access to the user guide is, right, when you are in the software, you just click this button. This button, help. When you click this button, right? I want to duplicate. I thought I duplicate this. Duplicate already, right? Okay. Oh.
Are you share the presentation? Just share PowerPoint and also share the software. You share everything on your screen.
I thought I want to share everything from my screen.
Already.
Oh, already, yeah.
But maybe you should give the presentation more and move to the software again. Yeah, thanks.
What happened? Minimize. Share my screen again. I think it's not sharing. Good. Okay. The fastest way that you can also access the user guide is that when you do the analysis, and then somewhere down the road, then you see something like, oh, I forget what is QCCR. Then you can just go to this question mark, help. When you click on it, it will open up the user guide. Then you can just do a very quick search. What is QCCR? So this is very, very useful.
The most updated version.
Yes, it will always follow your software version. So in future, if let's say we have version 5.3, then this one will also follow it 5.3. Yeah, very convenient. It's just that the second document here that you see, right, it is not, I think better with it. Then this one, you have to download it and just put in your PC. Okay, and if your customer is doing allele translation, means PGX, pharmacogenomics, then in this document, user guide, right, you can refer to chapter 6. The whole chapter, they just talk about what is allele translation. And then you can also refer to Appendix B. It also explains in details about allele translation. So you can refer to this two part when it comes to PGX. Okay. So I think let me try again. Sure, what is happening? I'm not sure what is happening there.
Yeah, but it's fine.
I choose duplicate. Oh,
You see the screen from the left hand side.
oh, okay. 刚才我们整个 session 看到你的整个 present 对吗？啊，现在是 OK 吗？对了 ，then since it's okay, then okay. Alright. So before I jump into the whole allele translation, I just need to go back to the basic first. Otherwise, I think it will be a little bit difficult to just jump straight into the allele translation. Okay, so let us revise or do a revision. What is the definition of allele? So allele, right? It means one of the two forms of DNA sequence that is located at a specific position on a specific chromosome. Like for example, this position here. Allele means one of the two. So when we say wild type, right, it means that these are the reference one or the most common allele that is present in the population. And the variance, it refers to the less common allele or what we call a minor allele. So this is the definitions. So the question here to ask you all is that how many alleles that you see in the diagram on the left? How many alleles? For those who are online, you can type in the chat box and you will let me know if 6. I hear some say 6. I don't know, I asked you. How many alleles? Both. The diagram on the left hand side. 5. Okay, 6, 5. Any more? 8. Okay, I have 6, 8, 5. Any more question? Anyone feedback on the chat? Okay, I think I have 5, 6, and 8. Let's see what's the answer. 6. So when we say allele, it means that this one of the two forms, because we get one from the mother, one from the father, right? And when we talk about allele, it refers to this single position. So if we look at 3 SNP over here, we have 6 allele. For SNP 1 is A and A, SNP 2 is C and T, and SNP 3 is G and G. Okay, all right. Next, genotype. When you do genotyping, one of the very often words that you see is genotype. When we say genotype, the definition of genotype is the combination of the alleles a person carry at a specific location in the DNA. So when we talk about homozygous genotype, means that 2 identical alleles, means that, like for example, this one here, in this particular SNP locations, it is A and A. So this is a homozygous genotype. So heterozygous genotype, it refers to 2 different alleles. Like for example, in this case over here, in this particular location, it is a C and T. So it's different, right? So it's a heterozygous. Okay. Question. How many genotypes are in the diagram on the left? The same one. How many genotypes? 2. I hear 2. Any more questions? Any more answers? Any more guesses? 3. Manini? 2. I hear 2. I hear 3. Lian? 2. Okay. 2. Most people say 2. Let's see what's the answer. 3 genotypes. You see, the genotype means the combination of allele a person carry at a specific location. So now here we are looking at 3 locations, right? SNP number 1, number 2, and number 3. So there are 3 genotypes here. And when we write, how we write genotype is that A/A, C/P, and G/G. And when we talk about homozygous, it means that these 2 are similar. AA, GG, TT, CC, these are all homozygous genotype. And when this is different, then this is heterozygous. Okay, next one. It's getting more and more complex. Haplotype. Haplotype. So when you analyze the PGX data, this is something that you will always see. The definition of haplotype, it means a set of a DNA variation or polymorphism that tends to be inherited together. It refers to the combinations of alleles to a set of a single nucleotide polymorphism found on the same chromosome. So the keyword here is same chromosome. So you inherited this from your father, you inherited this from your mother. So haplotype means this combination from your father and this combination from the mother. Okay, so that is haplotype, one set. What is the entire set of the combination? So in pharmacogenomics, you always see this star. Your customer will always say star. So don't get confused first, we will get into that later. But most of the time, in a lot of cases, in a lot of pharmacogenes, star ones refer to the wild type. Wild type, except for CYP2C19. Okay, CYP2C19 is star 38, is the wild type. But that's another story. You just need to remember, usually star 1 is the wild type. No mutation is a reference. Okay, then you will see like star 2, star 3, star 4, star 5. So why there is like so many stars is essentially is that they determine the number based on when they are being discovered. So let's say this combination is being discovered after the star 1, right? So this can be a star 2, and star 3 discovered after the star 2 pattern, and star 4 discovered after the star 3 pattern. Okay, is it okay? No, okay. Okay. Okay, in recent 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, we do a lot of sequencings, right? So star 1 is the reference. Like for example, ACG. This is one pattern, the very original pattern. And then we do a lot of sequencing, and then we find that there's this pattern is ATG. Then I give it star 2, for example. And then next time when I do sequencing, I found that there's another person is not ACG. It is also not ATG, but it is maybe AGC. Different pattern already, right? Star 3. Then I do sequencing, I found another pattern, star 4. Get it? Yeah. Now okay, all right. Okay. Question. How many haplotypes in the diagram on the left? Two. Any more? Any more answer? Really 2? 2? Really? 2? Sure? Okay. 3? So you say 3 lah. So you still 3 or 2? 2? 3? Okay. The answer is 2 lah. Because the haplotype, remember, it is a set. One set from father, one set from mother.
The star 2 is missing. That's why
yeah, that's why create the confusion. This is just an example, like star 3 as an example lah. So in here you see you can write either it's a ACG or it's a ATG. Another way, in the real case scenario, it will not be just 3 SNP. It can be hundreds of SNP. So it is not possible for you to write A, G, C, T, A, T, C, G, slash another pattern. So that is the reason why in PGX we assign the star to represent a certain type of pattern. So the easier way to write it is usually people write it *1 and *3. *1 is one haplotype and *3 is another haplotype. You might inherited this from your father and this one is from your mother. Okay, that's the definition of haplotype. Okay, ready for next one? Okay. All right. The next one is diplotype. Yeah. So the diplotype is actually just a haplotype pair where one haplotype is inherited from mother and one from the father. So just now you learn about haplotype pattern, right? The diplotype is just simply mean the pair. The pair. Okay. So question. What is the diplotype in the diagram? Want to try? *1, *3. Want to try? 10. Okay. All right. Let's look at the answer. *1/*3. So like when when we report the PGX results, we usually you will see that the report will say that it's *1/*3. Okay. Good. Okay, just revisions. So when we talk about alleles, right, then we talk about a single nucleotide. What is the combinations of the single nucleotide? And when it comes to genotype, it's actually referring to a pair of the allele. And haplotype means the pattern on the same chromosome. And diplotype simply means that what is the combinations of the haplotype pair. Okay. All right. Okay, then the next word. There's more words, phenotype. Okay, phenotype. So phenotype, it is an individual's observable traits. Essentially, like for example, in the case of the PGX pharmacogenomics, it refers to the metabolizer status. Okay, so you can see, for example, reference is always, it means like your reference wild type, no mutations, right? So this may be the protein structures, no mutation, everything function normally. Okay, and then because *3 means that there's some mutation, some variants, and when you have a variance or mutations in the sequence, it leads to the change of the amino acid, right? And it leads to the change of the protein structures. And because of the change of the protein structures, that enzymes might not bind very well or might not function very well. It might have reduced functions, or sometimes it might totally no function at all. So, for example, in this case here, if you have the *3, for example, if let's say *3 leads to a no function protein, so you can see that this person has a *3, no function, and then *1 is actually a normal function. So the combination is that this person has an intermediate metabolizer, means that it has an intermediate of the response to a certain medications compared to the normal people who has, like for example, *1s. Both of the copy will produce the proteins in the wild type format, functional format. So this is phenotype. So there are a few phenotype in PGX. You can see normal metabolizer, you have intermediate, you have poor. Poor usually means that both of the allele, both of the chromosome that you inherited for that genes is not function at all. Okay. Then you have also rapid metabolizer and ultra rapid metabolizer. This is usually contributed by, like for example, copy number gain. Means that in addition to one copy of gene, you actually get multiple copy of that gene. It means that instead of 100 protein that you can produce from one gene, you actually produce 200 copy, something like that. So the enzyme activity is much higher than the normal people. So this is phenotype. So okay. So just now we say that when it comes to PGX, you see a lot of stars, right? Until your eyes is like full of stars. So the star allele, right, is actually help to facilitate the phenotype prediction. Like for example, in this example here, if they would like to write down what is the mutation found, you can write like this, or you can actually just write like, you know, the star allele, right? To represent what is the status. If you are very familiar with this gene, when I see a star 2, I know that this represents no function. So when I see star 1, star 2, I can know like this person is an intermediate metabolizer, as I compare to if I need to see this or have to remember the ISID. And then when I see like star 2, and 2, it means that both copies are actually no function. I know that this person is a poor metabolizer. And this is the star allele nomenclature when you always see like CYP2D6 star 5. So star 1 is always referred to the reference allele most of the time. And then you can see that this refers to the superfamily when it comes to the pharmacogenes, and 2 refer to the family, D refer to the subfamily, isoform, and alleles. So how do they decide is based on the sequence similarity. For example, to be belongs to the same family of CYP2, CYP3, CYP4, it has to be 40% identical amino acid sequence, so on and so forth. Okay, then you will be very curious, well, who decide all these haplotype? You can imagine if a scientist define it differently than the scientist from another country, it will create a lot of confusion, right? So that's why it is very important to actually have only one single types or definitions. So who define this haplotype? This information is stored in one single location that is called FAMVA. So this FAMVA defines the haplotype naming convention for many of the genes. So if you go to this FAMVA, you can mark it. You can see. Is it like? Choose to be clear already. Okay. Okay. If you go to FAMVA, then you can, like, for example, you can go to the gene. For example, if you go to 2D6, you can just look at, like, if let's say you want to see the pattern, different pattern of the haplotype, you can. Yeah, then you can see that for each of the star allele, what is the unique changes in the sequence. So essentially, I just want to tell you that who defined it, and it is actually FAMVA. It's a pharmacogene variation consortium, and they also give you the information like what is the function of each of different type of the star allele. Like, for example, you can see that this one is the normal function, and then if let's say if there's any reduced function and all that, they will also state it here. Like, for example, CYP2B6 star 4 is a increased function. Okay, so this is FAMVA.
Like in each of that star 4.
You can. Is it in the presenter mode? Okay, all right. Just continue lah. Yeah, never mind lah. Okay, then you can see that this FAMVA is a central piece when it comes to PGX. So another database that you always see is PharmGKB, and even for PharmGKB, they will also refer to the FAMVA for the definition. Like what defines star 1, star 2, star 3, and what is the functions. So FarmGKB will always also refer to the FarmVar, and if they find that there's any things that FarmVar should improve, then they will also feedback. Okay, you can see that this is a two-way, and similar to the CPIC as well. It's a guideline, so you can see that even CPIC guideline, they're also referring to the FarmGKB, they're referring to the FarmVar, but essentially FarmVar is the central piece of the PGX database. All right, yeah, just now I show you already how to get these different definitions, right, in FarmVar. Yeah. So another one is FarmGKB. So FarmGKB, it is very, very useful. It actually helps to curate all the scientific research evidence and put it into one single website. And it also curates all the drugs level, the FDA drugs level or the Swiss level, the Japanese drug level. They just consolidate all the different drug levels. And they also consolidate all the different clinical guidelines. The clinical guidelines is like, like for example, the CPIC. So that you don't fall asleep. For example, CPIC is US, and then you also have like Canadian guideline, you also have Dutch guideline, you have French guideline. So the reason why they combine all these guidelines together in one single website is that so that you can actually refer to different guidelines. Because from guideline to guideline, there might be a little bit different in terms of the recommendation on how you should actually change the medication dosage, for example, based on the genetic information.
So it was depends on the policy of the.
It depends on, because like, for example, here, CPIC is majority of the CPIC, right? For example, it's a US scientists and clinicians from different kind of expertise. They will sit together and then they will discuss and they will argue over, if let's say you see for example, CYP2C19 poor metabolizer, what is the recommendation that is given? Is it that you should avoid taking the medication at all, or you should reduce? But in the case of the poor metabolizer, usually you have to go for alternative. But in the case of intermediate metabolizer, is it you need to reduce the dose? If let's say you reduce the dose, how many percent to reduce? Is it 50%? Is it 70%? So this is something that they will argue. Then sometimes you can see that they will say that, oh, it based on your weight. To actually consider, you have to consider the patient weight and something like that. So different bodies, for example, the US, the Europe guideline, sometimes might be a little bit different because there are different group of scientists that come together and discuss about it. And because like different country clinicians, they also practice differently, and clinician, their practice is also being taken into the consideration when it comes to creating the guidelines. Yeah, so it's a very good place. FarmGKB is. I think I go FarmGKB every single day. And FarmGKB, they also curate all the publications that they can scan. So they have two workflow. One is that they have this automated algorithm to actually screen every day, to screen what is the latest publication and literature. And then they will actually put this result onto the database. Then another one is that FarmGKB is actually made up of all the PGX experts all around the world. So they will actually read the journals, and then actually they will also curate it, and then they will annotate the variants and put into the database as well. So this is, you can go to FarmGKB to do a lot of things for PGX. Okay, then remember the pattern, like star 1, what is a pattern, right? So there are two places that you can actually refer to. The first one is just like I show you the FarmVar. The second one is actually FarmGKB. So let me show you if I can even show you. Okay, can. All right. You go to FarmGKB, right? If you go to this PGX gene specific information table, let's say you go to CYP2D6. Here, this is an allele definition table. In this table, you will be able to see this. Like for example, star 1, what is the nucleotide that you should expect or observe for star 1 allele? So for like now star 2, right, is empty, right? This is empty. It simply means that this position, if let's say it is a star 2, this position should be equal to the reference or same to the reference. However, you look through, look here. No, sorry. Let me take star 3 as example. Here, star 3 for this particular position, instead of a reference as a T, it actually has a deletion on this position. If you observe this pattern, if it completely match this pattern, it will be as regards as star 3. This table is actually very, very big, CYP2D6. There's a lot more beyond star 50 and a lot more on the right hand side. Just to give you an example that you can actually get this allele definition table from PharmGKB. They are the one that decide what is the pattern for star 2 versus star 3 versus star 4, so on and so forth. I think now you have over 169 different star allele for CYP2D6. Okay, all right. Then who decide what pattern is what phenotype? Like for example, who decide star 1/star 1 times 2 copy number gain is an ultra rapid metabolizer. And again, just now you remember this table, gene specific information for a specific pharmacogenes. You go to this allele functionality and also this diplotype phenotype table. Here you can see that star 1/star 1 times 2 means that you have a copy number gain. Copy number 3 is an ultra rapid metabolizer. So the database says this. Okay, hope it's all good. So those are the basic of the PGX. Then now we go into the actual allele translation. All right. So in order to do allele translation, it's actually very, very easy because our R&D has do so much of work in developing the software and the algorithm for you already. They go to curate all these different things and then they put it into the software, put it into the software. So what you need to do is just to you go to the software, because just now you have already did the analysis, right? Go to the process summary table. Just click this perform allele translation. Just one button. And then you just select all these, give it, and then you can just run, click OK. And then within a minute time, you will get reports already. Very simple. Yeah, you can try to do it. Click this perform allele translation. Then you cancel this. Yeah. Then just select a notation file, translation file, and yeah, then you just click OK. Then it will start to analyze already.
Định nghĩa các loại hạt phổ thai mà định nghĩa cái chức năng của nó như là chẩn đoán các bạn ở đây cái đào trên cái thang như cái pin này.
Do we wait for her to come back?
Wait for her, right?
Wait for her. See the call member.
Okay. Okay. You wait then. What is that?
Apparently, I will just change the invitation.
Do you manage to do the allele translation? Do you manage to do the allele translation? You can? You got the report? All right. Yeah, so for us, right, just one single button, you can get the reports already. Then you can see that you have the multiple reports in the allele translation.
Trong chạy xong nói vấn đề là cái thứ mục này.
And you? Yeah. Just take this. Oh, you already? Okay. Then it actually will go to. And it automatically open for you. Yeah, correct. So never mind. I know that you see a lot of files now. I will go through that. I'll go through it one by one. Okay. So before we go to that, right? I think I just now I spent quite a bit of time to explain what is *1, *2, and all where all these information comes from. So what our R&D did is that they help you to curate this information from FAMVA, FAMGKB, and program it into the software. So our software will know, for example, *1 is this pattern over here. And *2 is that you will observe for this different SNP location, this is the pattern. You see, compared to *1, *2 has a change in these three position. It has to be G, A, and T. If the pattern match, then it will be this. I mean, it will define as *2. And allele function, remember, is also from FAMGKB, right? It's also from the database. Like we will know, like *1 is a normal function versus *2 is a reduced function or no function. Like for example, *17 for CYP2C19 is a increased function. This one is all from the database. Like remember this database, right? This database. Yeah. So it's from this FAMGKB. So from this database, our scientists actually curate all this function and put all this information into the software already. Okay, now this part is why you do the gene title. So after the gene title, you do the analysis, and this is what you will get, right? Every single position, what is a nucleotide? Okay, for sample 1, can you tell me what is the results that you should see? Sample 1. Sample 1. This is the pattern that you see after you do the gene title. And then according to this table, what's the pattern? *1.
Yeah. Yeah, because no red.
Because no red. So, okay, what is the final? How do you write it? How do you write the results? *1, *1? *1. Okay. How about sample 2? Okay. *3? Okay, I hear the correct answer already. *2, *4A. Yeah, I think you get the idea already. Is that the software will actually go and see what is the genotype, and then they will match the pattern. If the pattern match, they will give the answer. And then after that, after they give this, right, they will even give you the predicted allele function. *1 is a normal, right? And then 2 copy of *1 is normal. So normal and normal is a normal metabolizer. And this one is *17 is increased function. So one normal, one increase. So this is rapid metabolizer. So what happens if, let's say, a person is star 17, 2 copy of increased function is an ultra rapid metabolizer, for example. So this is where this comes from. Yeah, we do genotype with the instrument. The software do the genotyping analysis, give you each of the nucleotides, what is the answer. From here, find the pattern, match it, star allele, and then they will predict what is the allele function. This is from the database. This is also from the database. And then this one is the one that decide how you should change your medication, whether you should go for a normal dose, increase dose, reduce dose, or to avoid taking the drugs. Okay. Let me give you an example. Ayo. Why like this? Okay. Right. Okay. You know, GKV is very useful. And let me see. Okay. Okay, this is Vietnamese data. You can see that for CYP2C19, this is a gene. For CYP2C19, right, it is very relevant to us as an Asian. Even for Vietnamese, you can see that 40% of the population, how many people? 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's say 10. Let's say both of us is also Vietnamese. 10 of us. You imagine like 4 of us actually carries at least one null function allele, because star 2 is a null function. Star 3 is also a null function. You can see almost 50%, actually 5 of us carry at least one allele that is null function. Okay. And then this one, star 2 and star 3. Star 2 and star 3 for CYP2C19 are both null function. So this person is a poor metabolizer, means that both allele is not working at all. So there will be no CYP2C19 enzyme in the body. So it's 2.4% of the Vietnamese population actually is poor metabolizer. Same goes to star 3, star 3. Okay. And one of the very typical medications metabolized by CYP2C19 is clopidogrel. Clopidogrel is the anti-platelet agent. You know this PCI. You know this? Like if let's say I like to eat a lot of pork, and then over the time I build up the cholesterol, and then it blocks the blood vessel, right? Then you need to do this procedure, PCI. And usually after the PCI, one of the most common drugs that you always need to take is like clopidogrel. It's an anti-platelet agent. And with this percentage of the Vietnamese populations that carry at least one loss of functions, what the guidelines says is that you can see, if let's say you are a star 1, star 2, go to farm GKV. So star 1, star 2 is the intermediate metabolizer. Okay. According to guideline, clinical guidelines, the person should avoid standard dose of clopidogrel if possible. Use prasugrel or ticagrel as standard dose if no contraindications. So this is how you can apply pharmacogenomic information. Because right, for those like the countries that didn't practice of using genetic information in patient management, is that after you do these procedures, why some people can live for a very long time without side effects, but some people suddenly collapse again and sent to the hospital because of another heart attack. It's very prevalent, because you can see that in In Vietnamese, actually, you see 50% or in Singapore, like 60% is actually intermediate or poor metabolizer. Yeah. And this is just an antiplatelet. How about those very common? Ayo, how I want to see my other things. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, can. All right. How about this, like very common one, like, okay, among you all, right? Have you all has gastric issues? Gastric. You know gastric? Gastric.
Và bị ở đây về bệnh đường tiêu hóa.
I know.
Gastric. Gastric. Experience gastric some point in your life? Gastric medicines, like for example, these yeah, gastric medicine is always like top 10 prescribed or top 10 drugs that is being taken by people all around the world. Like this one. This one. Yeah, for example, this is always one of the top 10 medications that's taken by a lot of people, even you and me. But you can see that 50%, if you have experienced that, hey, I'm gastric, I take gastric medicines, but it doesn't really help me that much. You might want to think, is it because of the genetics? Yeah, something like that. So this actually genetic enable us to select, because when it comes to the PPI, I mean the gastric medicine, there are different type of gastric medicine. If you actually know this information, you can actually choose the medicines that will work best on you. Then you don't need to trial and error. I try this, it doesn't work on me. I try another medicine. Then I try another medicine. I think currently this is the current practice. But what we really like to see is that this can change in future. Means that if you ever need any medicines, you can get the right one right from the very beginning, by also taking the genetic information into the consideration. Like if you can see that star 2, star 3. For poor metabolizer, consider 50% reduction. So this is how you can actually use the database from GKB. Star 2 and star 3 cytosine no function.
So it's just reduction.
Yeah, different drug have different consideration. Like for example here, if let's say it's a poor metabolizer, they recommend a consideration of 50% reduction. The reason is that for poor metabolizer, there's an increased plasma concentration. And then for this one, you have like the recommendation is to avoid it for poor metabolizer. If let's say you can see here. Yeah. Avoid use hydrochlor. Yeah, every single medicine based on the genetic information, they have different recommendation. It is based on the scientific and clinical research to come up with this kind of conclusion. It will be fun next time you do your own genobank. Yeah, if you have the extraction machine, next time you do if let's say your customer send you like 50 samples, then you still have like empty space, right? Then you just do your own extraction, and then you do this analysis. Then you will feel it you will feel very fun because you understand yourself more. Yeah.
How many genes targets in the pharmacofocus?
Pharmacofocus for 150 genes. Yeah, over 2,000 markers. For P, yeah, over 2,000 markers for pharmacofocus.
If we have the results.
Yeah, you can get the result, and then if you want to see, like, you can come and do a different jobs. 2,000 markers, over 150 genes.
Of the
150 genes, but each of the gene might have different markers, right? One 150. Yeah, pharmacofocus is about 150. 150 genes. I think so. I bet. 150, right? I think so.
150 genes.
150 genes, yes. In pharmacos scan, it has like over 1,000. But actually, pharmacofocus, they only focus on those genes that has clinical actionability. Means that it has very, very high level of scientific and clinical evidence. Usually when you search the information, it will available in PharmGKB, it will have the guidelines. It's not for research only, but it has an actionability. So if your customer want to do clinical testing, pharmacofocus. But if want to do research, I don't know what is the answer. I want to find the answer, then PMDA plus. Then they find from the 850,000 of markers which one are responsible for a certain drug response, something like that. Then it's a research, then PMDA plus. Clinical testing, I want to know whether I can take this medicine, pharmacofocus. Straightforward, simple summary. Okay, then just now when you do the analysis, you can see all these different output files, right? Many files. And what these many files, what's the function? I go through with you one by one. What time? Until 5. Ooh, what's this? Okay, so for allele, RPT means that the first one, when you open it, right, this file actually gives you a summary, like what is reportable, what is not reportable. If let's say some of the markers that are not being called, then you can see that these are non-reportable. Here, non-reportable, and those that are reportable will also be right here as well. And then the next one is comprehensive reports. Comprehensive reports, if you usually, you will see, you can actually filter by genes, and then they will list down what are the markers that is responsible to define, like for example, CYP2C19, and what is the results. They will list down everything. Like for example, if let's say for CYP2C19, everything is reference, means that it is like reference, no variance, everything reference. So this sample will be *1*1 because it's no mutation, no variance found. Then the next one is summary. Summary report is actually like a simplification of comprehensive reports. So you can see that, like for example, here CYP2C19 is a *1*1. Why is it *1*1? Because it says that all markers responsible for functional changes are reference. When all the markers responsible to define CYP2C19 function is reference, then this is the observation that you will see. Responsible or changes are reference, it is *1, normal metabolizer. However, if let's say in this example, you can see that one of the markers, CYP2C9, has a variance. You can see that it's reference variance. Then they will just show it here in the summary reports. So for example, CYP2C19, there are over 51 markers that's being tested, but only one of the markers has a variance identified. The rest of the 50 are actually reference. Then they will just remove that 50. But for in comprehensive, they put all the 51 rows. And in summary, they remove that 50 because it's reference. So you can very quickly see, is there any changes in the summary report? Okay, then these are just a different interpretation code. You can see the detail in the user guide. And I can go through some of the very common one that you will see. So when you see unique, right, it means that the software can only match to one single pattern. Then it will be unique. Then sometimes you can map to a multiple pattern. Then you can see that this is the pattern, but it could also mean that this person is carry *4 and also some novel combination. No? Any? This one? Okay, let me go back. I think I have another slide to explain this better. Okay, here. This is related to the concept of microarray. Microarray is a platform for you to genotype, right? So at the end of the day, what they give you is all these different location, all these different SNP location. What is the nucleotide or alleles that is present? However, we do not know for sure what is the pattern or combination in that single allele, in that single chromosome, right? Because we get one from father, one from mother. So for example, in this case, this is the pattern over here. There's, I mean, these are the two cases. So it can be GA, but it can also be, okay, here, the last one. It can be TCT, but it can also be TC. It can flip. Okay, so our software will take into the consideration that what if I flip it over, what is the possible genotype or possible haplotype that you observe? So *1, *6 is one of the pattern that the software can map. And because of these issues over here, right, this possibility here, they also try to map the definitions. The definition is that one of the pattern can actually meet the *4 pattern, and then another one is unknown. I cannot find any pattern that is matching that definition. Then that's why they keep it here, because it might be true that this person has novel allele that never been discovered before. And in this case, how the customer do it is that they will always refer to the frequency. It's also from PharmGKB, or if they have done like population study, like in Vietnam, you have done the 1,000 genome, right? You will know that in Vietnamese is *1, *6 very common. If yes, the chances is that usually it is *1, *6 instead of *4 unknown, because these chances is really extremely low. But they will just let you know that, you know, it is possible that it's novel allele. It's just that the chance might be 0.00 something % that it is this combination instead of *1, *6. Right? And same case to this multi. Multi means that the software is able to map or identify multiple combinations. So it can be *1A/*35, or it can be *1B/22. So usually in this case, right, customer will also refer to the population frequency. Like for example, from the database, we know that *32 is 0.001 in the populations. So this *1A and *35 is more likely to be the answer instead of the *1B/*22. Okay, this one we explained already. Okay, copy number. Copy number is another like different topic lah. So I think from clinical perspective, currently the most important copy number in PGX is CYP2D6. Okay, so in our essay, how we do copy number calling is that we will based on this 5' flank and the exon 9 region to decide whether or not there is a copy number gain or copy number loss or copy number hybrid gain or loss. And we don't actually do the one in the middle is because we do MPCR, right? There's another PCR. So because of another PCR, this region, the copy number region become not very reliable because you are actually using the PCR to actually amplify that particular region. So if you analyze it, the copy number region is not accurate anymore. So that's the reason. And before we go into the detail, right, I just want to, I think this will help you to understand more about CYP2D6. So CYP2D6 has two pseudogenes, which is CYP2D7 and CYP2D8. So pseudogenes means that they have very, very, very high similarity to the actual gene, but they have no function one. It will not be transcribed into the, the protein, translated into a protein. So these three genes are composed of 9 exons. You can see here 2D6, 2D7, and 2D8, 9 exons. And they also share a common 0.6 kb long downstream region. This one, this blue box, CYP2D6 and CYP2D7. And then they also have, these near identical repetitive sequences referred to as Rep6, Rep7. Rep6 in CYP2D6, Rep7 in CYP2D7. And also for CYP2D7, the pseudogene, there's also a presence of 1.6 kb spacer. So this is the structure of the CYP2D6, CYP2D7, and CYP2D8. And in some of the very interesting structural variations is STAR36, whereby there's this exon 9 conversions, mean that you can see part of the CYP2D7 genes is being inserted into the CYP2D6, which make these things not functioning well. And then what is this is very prevalent in our region in Asia, STAR36-10. From what I know, Vietnamese has 38% of the Vietnamese population is actually STAR36-10. Means that you have this CYP2D7 insert into the CYP2D6, and you also carry a STAR10. Okay, so remember we said about based on the two region, the copy number, the 5' flank and the exon 9, to actually decide the copy number status and also the possible presence of this STAR36 allele. So if you see that both of this one, exon 9 and 5' flank is copy number 3, then our software will call it as copy number gain. And then if let's say there is a 3-2, means that there's a copy number hybrid gain, because down the road, right, in exon 9 is 2 copy number, but in 5' frame is a copy number 3, means that, the part of the sequence just being duplicated, but only in part of the region, not the entire region. Okay, so and STAR4 we know that is the whole gene deletion means that you can see that, like for example here, you can see 5' flank and exon 9 only has 1 copy, so STAR1/STAR5, so it's like you only have copy number 1, and totally 0 is STAR5. So how our software present the data is based on this table over here. Okay, like for example, in this example, you can see that this is STAR2/STAR31 times n, because the 5' n here is copy number 3, blue color is copy number 3, and exon 9 is also copy number 3. So this is the actual copy number gain. So in the case of STAR36 plus 10, you can see that 5' flank, if you see that it's a copy number 3, but exon 9, if let's say you see copy number 2, and you also see the unique changes for STAR10, which is this 100C to T. This position is unique to STAR10. Then it is very possible that this sample has a presence of the star 36-10. You can see this is an example. You can see the 5' flank is blue color, right? Copy number 3. And exon 9 is copy number 2. And the status is copy number hybrid GAN. And the presence of star 10. Yeah. And this is just a definition that we went through. Then the last thing is that the metabolizer status in the phenotype report, there's this, this is how the phenotype report looks like. Usually a customer will just jump, we produce a list of reports, but the customer will always jump straight to the phenotype reports because this is a final report that they need. If let's say they see any problem, like, why is there no call, then only they will go back to see the comprehensive reports, the summary reports to see why is it so, to troubleshoot. Otherwise, they will just refer to the phenotype report and that's it. Because you can see that, like, for example, I based on this CYP2 C9 star 1 star 2, I already know that this person is an intermediate metabolizer. I can use this information for my subsequent things. Yeah, so this is a very final kind of reports. And this is a definition because different genes, sometimes they define phenotype differently. Like for example, the G6PD, these are the different kind of phenotype. And VCOC1, different kind of phenotype. Instead of like, you know, all these different kind of metabolizer status. And why we have this thing? Why they have this thing is because sometimes different research, they might, like for example, this research might say that star 36-10 is a reduced function. Another research will say that star 36-10 is a null function. So it's a clash. So sometimes the customer may want to decide that what star alleles or what combinations is referring to whether it's a reduced function or it's null function. So they can actually change this metabolizer status. There's an option. You just need to follow this user guide and then you change it. And next time in your phenotype report, like for example here, if let's say star 1, star 2, this is maybe not increase, decrease, maybe this is normal, then you can change it. Then it will reflect in your final reports. That's it. You always say finally end. Is it very overwhelming? Okay. Huh? A little overwhelming. Don't worry. I think the genotyping and allele translation do need a long time because you really need to look into it, study a lot of cases, see a lot of cases to really get used to it.
Wants to do the analysis by themselves, they need to understand this, right?
Yes, exactly. But we are always here. You can always engage us. Then we walk through together with the customer, of course, with your help with the translation as well.
In case I can explain to the customer.
Yeah. That's why we are here to help. Yeah. Actually, in many countries, in the very beginning, we really walk through step by step with the customers, then until they are very competent. That's why that's our job. Yeah, so don't worry.
I just saw one which is based on copy number variations, gain or loss. In case of loss, I can understand that maybe like there's no signal on the microarray. But in case of gain, for instance, like we have 100 markers for one gene, and in case of gain, we have a more. Yes. I don't know how to explain. I need to write down. I need to write down.
Okay.
To show you.
I think this is copy number 0. Let's say the signal for copy number 0. Yes. And then we actually have the signal, the reference for copy number 1. And this is copy number 2. During the development time, we actually genotype a lot of samples. And then we actually know for that particular sample, what is the copy number status? Is it copy number 0, copy number 1, or copy number 2? So we already have that background or reference signal there. And then once you genotype your actual sample, right? Okay, so they will actually compare your actual sample signal with the reference. So if let's say this is a copy number 2 signal, in a copy number 3 signal, you should observe that the signal is higher.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a copy number. Yeah, it's higher. Because we measure the intensity.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I am thinking about. For instance, for this gene, we have like 100 probes, right? For gene A, or something. It's normal. So we have a copy number, 2 copy number, right? We have normal. We have 2 copy number. 2 copy. So when we do the hybridization, then we have like something fragment, and then we hybridize on the probe on like this, and all of those fragments hybridize on the probes, and it gives a signal like 20,000. And in case of abnormal, it's a 3 copy. So if we have we do the same fragmentation, and then we do the hybridizations, and then it hybridizes on the same number of probes. How we can know that it's higher intensity?
Okay, in this 20,000, right?
Yes.
The question is with the same number of
Yes,
probes,
same number
how
of
we
probes.
can
Yes.
identify
How the signal intensity is higher.
It will not be present in every single probe, right?
Theo em hiểu thì không giờ nó có thể gắn hết cùng một lúc.
Really?
Yeah.
Với cái normal nó không thể gắn hết được cái
Because in copy number 3, you will have much more DNA.
Yes.
And then it will complement more probes.
Yes.
Because of one single feature, there's hundreds of thousands of probes onto it.
So if in case of normal sample, it's the intensity is
like this. And then for 30,000, you
it might not
like
hybridize 100% of.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cơ bản ví dụ như là
And then
cái box xanh chỉ có đậm lên, nó đậm hơn hẳn thì nó là thêm.
Because like for example, copy number 0 means that you do not have that at all, right? So nothing here.
Yeah.
Copy number 1 maybe just a fraction of it. Copy number 2, copy number 3, and more.
Expression.
Like expression, exactly. It is like a gene expression.
Okay.
Số môn thì cân quanh. Mình đã bút nữa mình đang viết sổ, tôi viết sổ mình đâu.
Của cậu á, cậu có từng mấy cái gì à?
Cái trong tủ áo ấy.
We can end this, right?
What is the size we can find for the copy number? What is the threshold?
Should we end this?
Yes.
For those who are on the line, I think we can. I think that's all for our today's session. You can down out already. If no question. I know I didn't see any question on the chat. I will wait for 1 minute for any questions. Otherwise, I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for joining the session. Let's wait for 1 minute. How, Malini?
Interesting.
Interesting. Fall asleep. Yeah.
What is the minimum size we can detect for the gain or loss of variation?
I show you. No question, right? Bye bye. Thank you. I show you.